Welcome back to another Shock Starcraft Guide campaign walkthrough. I'm Tyler and I'll be commentating this for you. Today I'm going to show you how to do In Utter Darkness on Brutal. I gave this map here a few tries with a few different strategies. I tried the Dark Templar at the choke point, the Carrier spam once you get the ability to. One awkward one I saw was to mass up Phoenix real early on and just lift everything up. That actually was a lot better than I thought it would be, but it didn't quite get you there with enough grace. It was a really close finish. I think I got like 2,700 just at the very end. So I'm going to show you what my favorite method would be. It's pretty much mass up Colossi and Zealots early on. And then later on I'm going to shift from Zealots to Stalkers. And the reason I like this transition is because early on you're gas dependent, you don't have as much as you need, and Zealots are a nice good meat to put in front of the very expensive Colossus unit. And they cost only minerals, as I'm sure you know. But later on you get a little more room to grow and develop, and then you start putting in Stalkers, which overall are a better line of defense in this mission, at least. And I say that because Zealots are a little aggressive. When you put the units in a choke point with Colossi backing them up, they tend to push out too far down the bridge, and they extend a little bit beyond what I'd like, and this gets them killed off quicker or unnecessarily. Whereas the Stalker, it's armored, so it takes damage better. It has range, so it doesn't tend to drift beyond the range of the Colossus too much. So overall it's more like a shield in front of your Colossus rather than a melee attack unit. And I like them a lot better for that. They are marginally more expensive, and that's why you won't see me get them until later on, because I'm using all my gas to devote to Colossi. Another thing I like to do is use the Phoenix. Now, I posted a video like a month ago doing this mission in a little poor resolution, and well, no commentary as well. And a lot of people, actually a surprising amount of people, asked me how those blue balls were just jumping off the ground, and that's the Phoenix unit. It has a graviton beam, and pretty much what it does is picks a unit off the ground and turns it into an air target for a little while, as you see right there. This lets the Phoenix not only do a little bit of crowd control, if you're familiar with WoW terminology, but it also allows them to incorporate damage into the army you wouldn't normally have. Generally, I save my graviton lift for the bigger units in a wave. There's no point really lifting up a Zergling. The Colossus will tear that apart. And Hydras they fight so densely that the Colossus gets more damage. Its sweep is more efficient in that manner, so you really shouldn't lift those up. Pretty much what you'll see me be lifting will be an Ultralist and the hybrids later on. An Infestor would not be a bad target to lift up if you find the computer using fungal growth, but I never really encountered that. I didn't do it before. It didn't seem to be that big of a problem. Anyways, continuing on, one thing I need to emphasize is getting upgrades. I did a couple missions without upgrades, and then I was like, oh, why don't I just, go through and get upgrades my next time through, because I like to do these missions a few times to find a stable strategy that I think anyone with a reasonable knowledge of StarCraft could go ahead and emulate what I've done here and get the mission done. Maybe not as gracefully, but overall I want the mission to be done by most people who aren't gifted or Korean at StarCraft. So upgrades are definitely one thing you want to get. 2 Forgi, those will probably be the best way to go about it. You could get 3, but actually I don't know. I used 2, but I don't see a reason why you couldn't get 3, because I'm looking at my minerals right now, and it seems that I have a healthy-ish supply that I might be able to support 3 forges pushing out upgrades. Now, I'm sure a bunch of people will be shouting how, oh, well, I got 3,500 kills or 4,000 kills, and you only, I think I finished this up around like 28 or 2,900, and that's not, well, to protect my ego. That's not because this is a poor strategy. A lot of the ways people get those big numbers is by microing very, very effectively, and overall, kind of getting a little lucky. They probably did a very, very good thing. Well, obviously they did. But it was a little bit of chance and a little bit of luck that they got so high. I picked this strategy to show because it seems to be the simplest. The Dark Templar one was, oh, if anybody doesn't know or I didn't explain earlier, the premise behind the Dark Templar idea is to literally make a wall that units can't pass and put it at the choke point of the bridge. And because Dark Templars are invisible, the units won't be able to pass through, and they'll just walk into the Dark Templars and die kind of in a silly manner. But as you see here, I don't make static defense force very early on. It's pretty mobile. I keep a good eye on my minimap, which is the key to any really good player. It's definitely something you should start doing if you don't already. I also assume that with every attacking wave coming across my bridge, there will be an air attack coming somewhere, whether it's off to the side on those high ground right here, or if it's just a Mutalisk swarm coming down the bridge as well. I'm always looking for it. It's not necessarily a matter of like timing and knowing exactly when a wave's coming, because I kind of subconsciously do, because I've done this mission about 7 or 8 times. It's just, you can go ahead and assume that's what's going to be normal, and that's that's what's going to happen with every ground wave. Now, one thing that I really should stress would be to keep your air units alive. Make sure you send your melee in first, and keep your air alive, because I don't build in this template. There isn't a lot of room for air production. If you start taking away ground units and putting them into air units, you lose a lot of your flexibility first off, and your ground actually gets exponentially weaker, or it exponentially decays in its effectiveness with a fewer amount of ground units, because of how the range of the Colossus works. It's splash damage in a line. So if you have a certain amount, I don't know the number, but I'd say 7 or 8, pretty much every sweep is going to demolish what's in front of it. So you don't find yourself taking twice as long, because if you take one sweep and everything's alive with 1 hit point, you have to take another sweep, and that takes the exact same amount of time, whether you hurt them down to 1 hit point or down to half their hit points. So you want to make sure you have enough Colossi that every sweep is decimating whatever's in front of you. And then as soon as you have that number of Colossi, get 1 or 2 more just to be safe, whether one dies or maybe a single Zergling kind of skipped on by and 2 or 3 Colossi are inefficiently targeting that. It helps to have a few extra. And then get Stalkers, as you see I'm transitioning into. See how they perfectly line up right in front of the more expensive Colossus unit behind them? And then just notice how when I send my air group in, I send it in after my ground army has already got a lot of the aggro and attention from any ranged unit down below. And don't worry about Zeratul. Despite looking cool in the cinematic, he really doesn't have any functionality in this mission. One invisible unit, just, it's not good. Well, he's good, he just doesn't have a role other than being a glorified zealot. Also, it's important to note how many production buildings I make. I've actually had a few people copy videos, record them, upload them to YouTube with an obscure name and ask me to kind of glance through them. And pretty much in every one, this has been done a couple times, and if you want to do that, I'll do my best to kind of take a look at it and give you at least a brief explanation of what I think you could do to improve on that. But pretty much the same repeating error is there isn't enough production buildings, especially on this mission. I think I saw one person not build an entire production building the entire time, just cannons and pylons. Speaking of which, right about now, when you get to like the 1,000 enemy mark, oh, there I go, you want to build pylons, because the pylons up front in this whole communal area, they will be destroyed. So being proactive and getting extra pylons before you need them really will help you later on. And actually, never mind. Also, you can see I split up my army. Excuse me. I split up my army so I can more effectively take out these Nidus worms. And if you're unprepared and you're not ready, send about 2 Void Rays to each Nidus worm. That would be the last Nidus worm you would attack if you only used your ground units. That way you can be time efficient. Your ground units will attack what's closer to them, and then the air units can get the targets that would be last on your queue of destruction and massacre. It just helps things out a little bit more. Make sure you're constantly using your gateway. It is a beautiful and very